Good morning and welcome everyone. I am Bruce Fielder and I am honored to be the worship associate this morning and part of the team that is working to record and stream this service to you, wherever you may be. We are an inclusive congregation that welcomes you as you are, inclusive of all your identities, complexities, and situations. We welcome your whole self, even if it isn't fully assembled, because we recognize that we are all a work in progress and that we are all in this together. The service is being posted on our YouTube page so that folks can watch it again later. Feel free to share it with your friends. Now, if you would, please join me in saying our opening affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, for these high purposes do we unite in worship. Our chalice lighting today is titled Inerrant Worth and Dignity by Steve Stock with the UUA in Boston. We light this chalice to celebrate the inerrant worth and dignity of every person, to reaffirm the historic pledge of liberal religion, to seek that justice which transcends mere legality and moves towards the resolution of true equality, and to share that love which is ultimately beyond even our cherished reason, that love which unites us.
Welcome. Welcome to this day, this hour, this place, this body. Together, we will answer a call to love. Together, we will create a thing of great beauty. Together, we will find the sacred in the spaces in between. Together, we will worship. Welcome.
Please join me in this responsive reading, number 602 by Lao Tse. If there is to be peace in the world,
There must be peace in the nation.
if there is to be peace in the nation,
There must be peace in the cities.
if there is to be peace in the cities,
There must
There must be peace between
if
neighbors.
there is to be peace between neighbors,
There must be peace in the home.
if there is to be peace in the home,
There must be peace in the heart.
Now, time for all ages. Kids, come a little closer. I know that this past week, many of you went back to school, and I expect that some of you were pretty excited, and some of you might have been a little bit worried, and some of you might have felt excited and worried and happy and a whole lot of other feelings all at the same time, and that can be a little overwhelming. Another feeling. I want you to know all of that is completely normal. But I was thinking about you and wondering if I could offer you some words to help you deal with all these feelings. So I was thinking, and a friend, I love having friends, a friend reminded me of some really great words. These words came from a very wise woman named Julian, and she lived in England over 500 years ago. She was a very spiritual person, and she lived an amazing life, even though she spent most of her life living in a single room. Now, during her life there in England, there was also a pandemic, a plague, and many people got very sick and many people died. She survived the plague and she lived many years after that. So I'm telling you this because she knew a thing or two about what it's like to live through a time of sickness and uncertainty. And she wrote books. Her first book was the very first book written in English by a woman. Here are the words that came from her that I want you to have. All will be well. We're going to cut that. Here are some of her words that I want you to have. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Now, her words aren't magic, and they seem kind of optimistic, but she offered them to help us stay strong. And it might seem as though she's not even recognizing that things can be scary and that sickness can make people very, very weak. But remember, she knew a thing or two about surviving illness, and she knew how to live well with other people. This necklace was a present from my mother. It has Julian's words on it. I thought you might like to have these words too. So if you want to carry her words with you, to read them whenever you're feeling worried or nervous, you can make a little circle like this. What you can do is you can write the words on a piece of paper, and then you flip the paper over and you write them on the other side so that you have all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Then you're going to tape it together, but don't tape it just like a circle. You tape it by twisting one end. Come on, twist one end. And you make it kind of curly. This is called a Mobius strip, and you can read it in a loop. And then you can carry this loop. I've already taped this one, and you can read it. You can start, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Carry Julian's words with you so that they can give you strength and courage every day you go to school. All right, thinking of you, I miss you, and I hope you're doing well. Call me if you need me.
For the next few months, we'll be taking a moment during each service to learn ideas to help us do the work of learning to be anti-racist. We're starting with introducing the definition and characteristics of white supremacy culture so that we can have a shared vocabulary and ideas to consider. We are drawing upon the works of Robin DiAngelo, Kenneth Jones, and Tima Oken. We'll be posting all of this information in our weekly newsletter. Here is Cindy Walton with today's message on anti-racism.
A basic definition of white supremacy culture is the all-encompassing assumed superiority of people defined and perceived as white and the practices based upon this assumption. It does not refer to individuals, but to an overarching political, economic, and social system of domination. This quote is from White Fragility by Ibram DiAngelo. We're talking today about quantity over quality. When white supremacy culture is operating, all resources of an organization are directed toward producing measurable goals. In this situation, things that can be measured are more highly valued than things that cannot. For example, the numbers of people attending a meeting or newspaper circulation or money spent are valued more than the quality of relationships, democratic decision-making, or the ability to constructively deal with conflict. The result is that little or no value is attached to process. If it can't be measured, it has no value. In this situation, people may display discomfort with emotions and feelings, and comfort with data. It can result in having no understanding that when there is conflict between the content, or the agenda, and process, people's need to be heard or engaged, process will prevail. For example, you may get through the agenda, but the decisions made at the meeting will be undermined or disregarded. Some antidotes to quantity over quality. We can include process goals in our planning. We can make sure that our organization has a values statement which expresses the ways in which we want to do our work. We can make sure our values statement is a living document and that people are using it in their day-to-day work. We can look for ways to measure process goals. For example, if we have a goal of inclusivity, think about ways we can measure whether or not we have achieved this goal. We can learn to recognize those times when we need to get off the agenda in order to address people's underlying concerns. This concludes this week's moment of anti-racism.
At this time in our service, we recognize the joys and concerns of our community. I'm going to start by lighting a candle for Amy Fielder. This week she's going to begin receiving treatment for squamous cells on her foot. This is a candle of concern also. A member of my own family has been diagnosed with multiple myeloma. This candle is for my cousin, my aunt, and all the people in our family who are concerned. Here is a candle, our final candle, for all those joys and concerns that were not shared with us, yet are held deeply in our hearts.
We have a mission here at our fellowship, so please join me in saying these words together. Our spiritual community lives courage, nurtures wonder, inspires justice, and includes all.
This is the fourth Sunday of our month, and if we were all in the building together, we would have an all-ages service. And when we have an all-ages service, we like to do something that helps us all stay in right relationship. So we do a Buddhist meditation. We're going to be saying words 3 times. The first time we say them for yourself. The second time you say them for someone you love or who you care about. And the third time you say them for someone against whom you might be holding a resentment, someone with whom you are not in right relationship. Now, to some of us, this might feel like an intercessionary prayer, asking a deity to intervene on your behalf, but it's not. It's just a meditation. And the person you're talking to is your own self, because you might need to hear these words. So, I will say the words, and then you say them after. First time, you say for yourself. May I be free from danger. May I be happy in my mind. May I be happy in my body. May I have ease of well-being. Second time you say for someone you love. May you be free from danger. May you be happy in your mind. May you be happy in your body. May you have ease of well-being. Said for a person with whom I am not in right relation. May you be free from danger. May you be happy in your mind. May you be happy in your body. May you have ease of well-being. And thus do we become blessings to one another.
Our reading today is from the book called Beyond Religion, Ethics for a Whole World by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Fundamental equality. In our quest of happiness and avoidance of suffering, we are all fundamentally the same and therefore equal. This is an important point, for if we can integrate an appreciation of this fundamental human equality into our everyday outlook, I am very confident that it will be of immense benefit not only to society at large, but also to us as individuals. For this reason, I often make the point that the factors which divide us are actually much more superficial than those we share. Despite all the characteristics that differentiate us, race, language, religion, gender, wealth, and many others, we are all equal in terms of our basic humanity. In light of these considerations, the time has come, I believe, for each one of us to start thinking and acting on the basis of an identity rooted in the phrase, we human beings.
Pulling up at a stoplight, I strained to read the message on the bumper of the car in front of me. Watch out for the idiot behind me. Will do. When you find yourself in the middle of traffic, perhaps sometimes you're like me and sometimes you get a little impatient. Who are all these people? What are they doing here? Why don't they just go home and get out of my way? Perhaps I need a bumper sticker too. Watch out for the idiot in front of you. There are a few silver linings to this whole pandemic. One benefit that we could not have predicted, because people are making fewer car trips, there has been a significant drop in car accidents. So significant that some auto insurance companies have issued rebates to their customers because they didn't have to pay out as many claims. Here in Amarillo, we have some traffic. Really, actually, a pretty reasonable amount of traffic. Actually, we have the exact amount of traffic to be expected given the number of people and cars and road surfaces. And frankly, the traffic here behaves pretty much like traffic behaves most other places. There are no better or worse drivers here than in the rest of the United States. Our roads are very wide and mostly straight and flat. That affects our traffic. There's really nothing exceptional about the traffic here other than it's made up of people who live here. I drive around Amarillo, therefore I am the traffic here. Maybe you do too. Maybe you drive somewhere else, in which case you are the traffic there. To make it easier for people to get from point A to point B safely and quickly, there are traffic engineers who design all of our roads. And because our current transportation system prefers individual cars over communal modes like buses or trains, and because our system also prefers expediency over leisure even, these engineers usually propose roads that are wider and straighter and flatter, so more cars can go faster. But even with our larger, straighter, flatter roads, we still have traffic, and traffic that backs up. Even with the pandemic, we still have plenty of accidents. So while the road engineers, the traffic engineers, continue to design really big roads, some physicists have taken a different attack, and they've been applying different theories of movement to better understand traffic. Some have found, with eerie prediction, that traffic behaves much like gas molecules moving through constricted spaces. And some have even likened the way that traffic moves to the way that bubbles will flow and back up and then resume flowing. After reading that, now when I'm driving, I like thinking to myself that I and all the other vehicles were gassy bubbles. It makes me smile. Here's another odd factoid. It has actually been determined that the most efficient and safe speed to drive on a residential street, and really pretty much all urban surface streets, is 20 miles per hour. 20. See, when people drive more slowly on narrower, less straight roads, traffic accidents drop significantly, and people arrive at their destinations with only a small increase in the overall trip time. So there's less need for traffic lights, and traffic flows more smoothly when everybody is going about 20 miles an hour. And so it would seem that those wide, straight, flat roads might be part of our problem. Some larger cities in the US are starting to drop their speed limits on their residential and non-arterial streets. One city's new slogan is, "20 is plenty." Try it sometime when you're not on a major roadway. It's weird, but you actually get to where you want to be going in about the same amount of time with less acceleration, less braking, and you can actually see the things that you're driving past. I like to do that. Driving through neighborhoods, poking along at about 20 miles an hour, thinking all about us being gassy bubbles, smiling. Sometimes it irritates the other drivers. As they see it, I am being really annoying, poking along at 20 miles per hour. They can't see all of my thoughts about gassy bubbles. They can't see me smiling. But in my rearview mirror, I can see their irritation as they're hugging my bumper. I can kind of see the veins bulging on their temples. Sometimes they have exciting hand gestures. That's about the time that I either pull over and let them pass, or I simply keep at it. Pokey, pokey, pokey. We'll all get there eventually. When I do pull over and let them pass, they zoom ahead, exhaling a cloud of irritation and exhaust fumes. And then I usually wave at them about 7 seconds later, just as I pull up next to them at the stoplight. They never seem to want to wave back. Pokey, pokey, pokey. We'll all get there eventually. In these situations, especially if the other driver is driving in an erratic or unsafe manner, I might ask any available angels to keep an eye on them, because it looks like they might need some angels when they have that accident they seem to be heading towards. And then I try and extend some compassion in all directions. I mean, compassion to that idiot, compassion to this idiot, compassion to all the idiots who just have the misfortune of being ahead or behind us, and compassion to the first responders who will have to attend to any accident that might happen. And that's what I do if I'm feeling all loving kindness Buddhist about it. But All of this reminds me that even though I might be trying to be kind and thoughtful and generous, I'm still probably going to really annoy another person. I am. Simply by being me, I am an awful person to someone else. That is a humbling part of relational theology. Relational theology is the understanding that the sacred lies in the relationship between two beings. This is what I'm referring to when I say that we might find the holy in the spaces in between. And usually when we talk about relational theology, we're talking about the holy spaces in between, but in reality, that's not always peace, love, and understanding. Sometimes that holy space is really, really irritating. Sometimes that space is where one person can offend or harm another person. Sometimes the space in between is where we have accidents. And then, if we're looking for the sacred in these spaces, we might also see that there is room for apology, listening, healing, tending to the broken places. A couple of weeks ago in our service, the Moment of Anti-Racism examined a characteristic of white supremacy culture that is a sense of urgency. This characteristic prioritizes the quick fix and expediency over the slower work of inclusion and attention to long-term consequences. Being late is seen as a terrible character flaw, so terrible that we are apt to not consider those we blow past on our way to avoid being late. When we get behind the wheel of a car, we can easily be seduced by the power and begin to expect and demand the power to go as fast as we want, regardless of the impact on the other beings around us. We succumb to the illusion that the metal frame of our vehicles is somehow separating us from nature, when really we're still behaving like gassy bubbles. How might you drive if you carry the idea that we are all busily creating traffic together? It's not just all those other drivers, but it's all of us together. We all showed up, and here, we've created traffic. It doesn't happen without you. This is part of what process theology would have us understand. Nothing happens. It does not happen without all of us showing up and contributing to the process. Nothing is ever planned. Nothing is ever finished. All of it is bubbling along together. Some things bubble along smoothly. Sometimes bubbles squish and back up, pop. Here's another way to maybe have you start thinking about how to drive more mindfully. What if you were to drive as if you had your grandmother, perhaps of blessed memory, your grandmother in the passenger seat? Now, what if she was wearing her Sunday best and carrying a Jell-O salad in her lap? Cherry Jell-O. And you know red dye is forever, right? You won't get those stains out. What if every time you accelerate too quickly or brake too suddenly, grandma, dress, and Jell-O were right there with you? I want you to know that to me, You are as precious as your grandmother, her beautiful dress, and that lovely salad. Because unless there is a sincere emergency, what is the rush? What sense of urgency has compelled you into thinking that you will be an awful person if you arrive safely but 3 minutes later than planned? What's the rush? Like Ram Dass taught us, we're all just walking each other home. Pokey, pokey, pokey. We'll all get there eventually. May it be so. Blessed be.
At this time in our service, the congregation makes its financial offering. If you have made a pledge or would like to make a contribution, you can simply mail it into our office, or you can make it online. There is a donate button on our YouTube landing page and on our website, uuamarillo.org. On the home page, in the upper right-hand corner, you will find a big blue donate button that will take you to a place where you can donate securely through PayPal. If you have made a financial pledge for this year, please keep up your pledge. While we are not meeting in person, some of our groups are meeting online. We have the Nothing Much Buddhist group meeting on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. using Zoom. Please check their Facebook group page for more information. Our UU Adult Religious Education class meets at 10 a.m. on Sundays using Zoom. The class is covering Unitarian Universalist history. If you are interested in attending this class, please contact Lydia Miller. The Summer TED Talk series is continuing. Folks had such a good time with the series in July that they're going to keep going. It's being led by Linda Cook Katz, and they now meet every Tuesday at 11 a.m. The current focus will be talks on racism and anti-racism. You can find the link to their meeting in our newsletter. And for more information, please contact Reverend Nell. If you have been participating in the life of the congregation or simply watching our services online and are now interested in knowing more about the fellowship or becoming a member, please contact us. We have a Path to Membership program that can meet online or in person. Email us at office@uuamarillo.org or call our office at 806-355-9351 and leave a message. At this time, I want to thank all of the folks here who are helping to make this worship service happen. Thank you to John and Larry for your dedication and care. We couldn't make this happen without you. To extinguish our chalice, this is a reading by Robin F. Gray from the UUA organization. Ours is a communion born of words and welcome. Our communion finds expression in caring and commitment to our highest ideals. Our communion lives on in our hearts, though this sacred hour is ended. May the fellowship of this hour touch and move our lives until we come again together. Go in peace.
As you head out into this world, please carry these words with you. You are but one body in the traffic. You are but one sense of urgency in all the sense of urgency. but you are essential to this river of life. Go in peace. Blessed be. Amen.